Oh, yes, we love Uniontown High School as well. We love Laurel Highlands. We love all the area schools, and we love high school basketball. And oh, do we have a good one for you tonight. Good evening, everybody. I'm Chuck Durso, and welcome to Herald Standard Television, where tonight it's the Laurel Highlands Mustangs traveling crosstown to take on the Uniontown Red Raiders in the season finale. Nothing at stake as far as the section standings are concerned. Uniontown has already clinched the Section 2 Quad A title. Laurel Highlands has already clinched Double A. But Robert Leighty, assistant sports editor of the Uniontown Herald Standard, we know better than to say nothing's at stake when these two teams play.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of controversy about who might be the top seed, Uniontown or Newcastle. And boy, Laurel Highlands would love to have us saying that, wouldn't they? They'd love to knock Uniontown off and say, like, we're the ones that knocked them out from being the top seed. And that might just be what does it. But, I mean, there's a lot more than just that. I mean, you don't need any motivation, just the fact that, you know, as usual, it's Laurel Highlands and Uniontown, crosstown rival. I don't think LH got real tired from the trip, you know, so they should be ready to play. And LH has stumbled a bit. And I get the feeling LH is kind of in a little bit of a rut after that last loss to Uniontown. And I think they were looking ahead of this game a little bit too much. And they lost to AG, they lost to Connellsville. We heard some chants about that last night, if you remember. But yeah, I'd look for LH to put up a good fight today and try to get some momentum going into the playoffs.
Very similar to last year when Laurel Highlands struggled going into the playoffs and then lost in the first round. So you're right, they want to turn it around. For the Mustangs, Nathan Force, leading scorer, averaging 19.5 points per game. You know he's going to get his points inside, but I think the key might be Timmy Mahoney. They need some points from the outside from him, and if he can shoot well tonight, you got to think they have a chance.
Right, and they didn't do that last time. Those guys did not shoot well from the outside. It was very key. And LH did hang with them. They had the lead in the third quarter. They had a nice run going. But that in the long run really cost them that in a brain block with the free throw line in the first meeting. But yeah, that's definitely one of the keys. That Mahoney's got to hit, maybe Craig Rackle, they can hit some shots from the outside. They got to stay composed. And I know they can win here because they did it last year.
In a big overtime thriller, and of course they gave Uniontown a run in that first game as well. They make some foul shots down the stretch, and they have a chance to win that game. From the Red Raiders side, Terrence Vaughn's, of course, the leading scorer at 19.1 points per game, but this is not a one-man show. They have three players, all with 1,000 points in their career. I can't think of another senior class that has three 1,000-point scorers in recent memory or in any memory in area high school basketball. In fact, they honored all three of them just a few moments ago before the game. But when you look at Terrence Vaughn's, D.R. Jenkins, and Chris Jacobs, Uniontown can beat you in a lot of different ways.
They can, and even the other guys you look at. Carl Farrell, very key inside this year, and if you ask Dave Shuck, who one of the most important guys is on his team, the guy who can't afford to lose, he'll tell you David Winfrey, because David runs the show, and he doesn't get a lot of credit either, but he's very key to them. If he gets in foul trouble, and that's one of the things you worry about for Uniontown, even in the playoffs, they need someone to back up David Winfrey, and he's a very key player too. And he came out big last game. He did a nice little scoop shot and everything. Looked like you, I think, in your prime when he drove in the middle. You never know in this game who might step up and take charge, because I saw a different David Winfrey last game, really aggressive, and you don't usually see that.
Don't give away my secrets. Now, Uniontown's looking to finish an undefeated Section 2A season. They've only lost one game all year, and that was a team from way out west. Very few teams in Pennsylvania have even played them close. But one of those teams is on the floor tonight in Laurel Highlands. Should be a good one. LH against Uniontown. We're looking forward to it. Stay tuned, because when we come back, the national anthem, the starting lineups, and the opening tap. Mustangs and Red Raiders next on Herald Standard Television. And welcome back. Chuck Durso with you, just seconds away from the opening tap in the excitement building here at the Eberhardt Memorial Gymnasium at Uniontown High School. Laurel Highlands gets ready to battle Uniontown. My thanks to Robert Leighty for helping us out in the pregame show. He is now comfortably ensconced courtside, covering the game for the Herald Standard, along with sports editor Mike Cherokee. They're double teaming. Of course, on a game of this magnitude, you bring out all the stops. That's why we have the full crew here tonight as well. With Eric Zakovic and Craig Lobb. Of course, Dan the Man Wheeler at my side, all ready to bring you the sights and sounds of Laurel Highlands Uniontown. We hope to be joined later on this evening by Jess Hudson as well. Should be a good one. The Uniontown Red Raiders coming into this game 11-0, undefeated in Section 2, 22-1 overall on the season, taking on the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, and they come into this game with an 8-3 record. They have second place already clinched. They are 15-8 overall on the season. Again, even if they were to lose tonight, Trinity and Cannon McMillan are playing tonight in a battle for third place. They're both 6-5, but neither team can catch Laurel Highlands. Laurel Highlands, of course, even with the win tonight, cannot catch Uniontown. So the playoff positions are set. This game has no bearing whatsoever on the Section 2 standings. All that's at stake, bragging rights for the next year here in the Uniontown area. That's not much, huh? We're going to take a look at the starting lineups in just a few moments, but first we'll have the national anthem and a group of 5 young students, 5 young boys from Uniontown High School, and I hope I pronounced these names correctly. They're going to be singing the national anthem. Ron Milne, Chris Nagayan, Mike Rosinski, Jared Volek, and Steve Kovac. I'm sure I wasn't 5 for 5. I hope I was at least 4 for 5. First names are easy. Ron, Chris, Mike, Jared, and Steve. I know I got those right. And they're going to be singing the national anthem for us. And after that, we'll introduce you to tonight's starting lineups. But first, let's begin tonight's festivities with the national anthem.
Our national anthem.
So proudly we hail as the twilight's last gleaming, through rough stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight, for the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed. And the rocket's red flash, the bumpers singing in air. Oh, sailors and star-spangled
Nice job by those young men. And now while the dueling alma maters, I always love that about this game, the Uniontown alma mater being played while the Laurel Highlands faithful cheerleaders, players, and fans all sing theirs. So we go back and forth at the same time. Let's listen into that too. Oh, they start them young with Uniontown and Laurel Highlands. I love it. Again, all part of the atmosphere. Part of what makes this such a special biennial event. And if we were lucky this year, it'll be a triennial event. Maybe these two teams can play again in the postseason. Both teams, of course, have already qualified for the WPIAL playoffs. We mentioned during our girls broadcast yesterday that for the first time in the history of the existence of both of these schools, 35 years since Laurel Highlands was formed from North and South Union, for the first time in those 35 years, all 4 basketball teams qualifying for the WPIAL playoffs, the Uniontown boys and girls, the Laurel Highlands boys and girls. 4 for 4, a grand slam, if you will, and it's never happened before. What a great, great winter of high school basketball this has been right here in the Uniontown area. We're going to take a look at the starting lineups now. You're, of course, looking right now at Laurel Highlands head coach Mark John, as they're about to introduce, or they are introducing, the Laurel Highlands starting 5. And the starting 5 look like this. Number 21 is Timmy Mahoney. He is a 6'3 senior. We talked about him in the pregame. They need outside shooting from Timmy. Number 23 is 6'5 senior Nathan Force, leading scorer for Laurel Highlands, coming into this game averaging 19.5 points per game. He'll be joined by number 20, Craig Radcliffe. Radcliffe is a 6-foot senior. Number 30 is 5'11 senior A.J. Swentowski, and number 40 is 6'4 senior Dan Riley, and they'll look for an inside presence from Riley along with Force. That's your starting five for the Mustangs. Again, they come in with a record of 15-8, 8-3 in Section 2. Their 3 losses. They were undefeated before losing to Uniontown earlier this year, 70-62. But as Robert Chaney mentioned in the pregame, they've lost 2 games during the second half of the season. Upset at Albert Gallatin 58-57, and earlier this week they lost at home to Connellsville 48-46. You can see they have lost 3 games by a combined total of 11 points. They're very close to being, quite frankly, 10-1 if they beat Albert Gallatin and Connellsville. Again, both close games. They would have been 10-1 coming into this game and a chance to win a co-championship in the section had they won tonight, but that was not to be. As it is, they're just going to try to see if they can ruin the end of Uniontown season as we take a look now at the Uniontown Red Raiders. We saw moments ago head coach Dave Shuck taking a look at the starting five for Uniontown. Point guard is number 12, and that is 5'10 senior David Winfrey, joined in the backcourt by the leading scorer, number 24. 5'11 senior Terrence Vaughns. Number 20 is 6'2 senior D.R. Jenkins. And then in the front court, we have number 14, 6'2 senior Carl Farrell. And number 32, 6'1 senior Chris Jacobs. Again, Jacobs just recently reaching the 1,000 point mark for his career. Jenkins did it in a game we broadcast here on HSTV. And earlier, last year actually, Terrence Vaughns reached the 1,000 point mark. Vaughns is the leading scorer for Uniontown at 19.1 points per game. Uniontown 22-1 on the season, losing in that Las Vegas tournament earlier in the year in the semifinals of that tournament. They won 3 out of 4 games there. Did have the one loss, their only loss all season. They are 11-0 and trying to complete an unbeaten section season with a victory tonight. The Mustangs, of course, in the blue uniforms with the red numerals and the white trim. The Red Raiders in their home whites with the maroon numerals. Mustangs out on the floor. Last minute instructions from Dave Shuck. Assistant coaches Rich Bierbauer and Rob Kazmarski. Now here come the Raiders, and we are ready. Packed house, capacity crowd. SRO, baby, standing room only. We're packing them in. And I got to stand up and I got to lean forward because it's hard for me to see. Pushing some of the fans away from the sideline. We were hoping to bring you a floor-level camera today, and we couldn't even do that because this gym is so tight that the officials would not allow us to put a camera floor-level because there's not enough room. I mean, that's how crowded this place is. The Raiders get the opening tap, and we are underway. Jacobs gets the pass from Winfrey, and we get a foul right off the bat as Riley will be called. Jacobs will get a pair from the line, 8 seconds into the game. First shot is up and in. First point of the night. Jacobs hits them both, and the Raiders take a quick 2-0 lead. Raiders with full court pressure, as you would expect. Look for a fast-paced game, end-to-end action. We will definitely go back and forth. And now the drive and the nice dish to Force from Radcliffe. And our first tie of the evening. It's 2 aside. 25 seconds into this one. Now Terrence Vaughn spots up off the pass. The shot no good, and Force with the rebound. And we get a foul in the backcourt. Going to be called on Carl Farrell. So an early foul on each side. Now the Mustangs with an opportunity to pick up their first lead of the night. Now skip pass, tipped by Vaughns, all wide open underneath for the score. Timmy Mahoney. Well, he said he needed to produce outside, but his first bucket comes inside. And Laurel Highlands has their first lead at 4-2. LH in the man-to-man and a steal by Mahoney. And a trip, and Farrell will be called for 2 quick fouls. And that could be huge, as head coach Shuck will have to make a decision. And right away, Kevin McLee will come into the game. And Farrell will have to take a seat. Just a minute and 3 seconds into this one. And McLee checks in. 4-2, LH with the lead. Uniontown has struggled in the first quarter in many games this year. Look at Force, gets the shot off, no good. Tip, no good. Jenkins comes down with it. Force had an open look, could have put LH up by 4 early. Now Uniontown looking to tie. They could take the lead with the 3 ball. This is a 2, baseline, no good by Jenkins, and the rebound pulled down by Swintoski. 6.5 left in the first period. LH leads at 4-2. Uniontown starts out in a 1-3-1 zone early. We'll see much zone from Uniontown, but they'll play some here. Of course, their zone, unlike many others, because they're able to extend it so much because of their quickness. Riley tries to drive baseline. The ball swatted out of bounds. LH will retain possession. Oh, it's already warming up. It's warmed up about 5 degrees already since I came into this building about an hour ago. We get a quick turnover now. We'll come back the other way. I'm guessing another 10 degrees before the game's over. Swintoski tips the pass out of bounds. Raider ball with 6:02 left in the first period. Uniontown still hasn't scored from the field here in the first 2 minutes of the game. Jacobs hit a couple of free throws to open the scoring. LH with 4 since then. Now Winfrey thinking about driving. There's that scoop shot that Robert Leighty was talking about. But Dan Riley says, you don't have to go home, but you got to get out of here with that. Uniontown maintains possession though. Winfrey trying to create early. Not a bad idea. Now the pass inside to Jacobs is stolen. Force gets it to Mahoney. Pulls up, puts in. 4 early for Timmy Mahoney, and it's a 6-2 Mustang lead. Again, started to mention earlier, Uniontown has gotten off to slow starts often this year. The first quarter has not been a strong quarter for them. The second quarter, they've time and time again just taken control of the game in the second quarter, but they've often struggled early, including the first matchup with Laurel Highlands. Now Vaughn spots up. Shot is short. Jacobs tries to keep it alive. They'll say it's off of Force. Uniontown will inbounds under the hoop. Again, Carl Farrell, if you're just tuning in, already on the bench with 2 fouls in the first minute of the game. As talented as Uniontown is, they're not especially deep. Foul trouble, the one thing you always worry about for the Red Raiders, especially because they play such an aggressive, in-your-face defense. They don't want the game called too close. Now Deere Jenkins feeling it from the land of 3. 6-5. First tray of the night, and now we'll get a hold called. The turnover and then the hold. Riley will be called. And that will be his second foul. And now Coach John will have to make a decision for the Mustangs. That may negate Farrell's 2 fouls. For now, Riley stays out there. 4:50 left in the period. Uniontown trails by a point. Jenkins just hitting the first 3-pointer of the night, and now Winfrey wants it from 3. And Jenkins will be called over the top as he fouls Radcliffe. First on Dier, third team foul on the Raiders. 4:41 left first quarter. LH leads at 6-5. Token pressure by the Red Raiders. They'll pick him up at half court. Jenkins checking Mahoney. Looking underneath for Force. Pass deflected by Vaughns. Nice defense by Terrence. Now the Raiders will look to regain the lead. Vaughns in the corner. Now Dier tries to kick it into Jacobs, who touched it last. Tipped by Force. He pleads his case to no avail. Uniontown trails by 1. They led early in this game, scored the first 2 points. It's been LH since then, and a nice steal by Force as Vaughns tries to kick it into Jacobs on the blocks. Midway through the first quarter, it's 6-5 LH. Vaughns, aggressive defense. Radcliffe gets it off baseline to Force. Can't get the shot to go, but Riley pulls it down. Now Mahoney for 3. 7 quick points for Tim Mahoney. And the Mustangs equal their largest lead of the period at 9-5. Now Jenkins thinking about shooting before he caught it. Back come the Mustangs. Just what LH wanted here in the first period. Just as they did in the first game. Sending a message to the Red Raiders, they've come to play. Now Swintoski dribble drive, ball stolen. Jacobs without numbers, he'll slow down. Wait for his mates, 3:15 left in the first period. Raiders trail by 4. Now Vaughn hasn't hit yet from outside. Misses again, and the rebound pulled down by Mahoney. And the Mustangs, they're looking to run. If the opportunity presents itself, they're not afraid to run up and down with the Raiders. Got to be careful, though. Jenkins near steal. Taken back by Riley and then stolen again by Vaughns. Back and forth we go. Don't blink, fans. You're going to miss something. Now Terrence Vaughns. No good, but follows his shot and gets the layup. First 2 of the night for Terrence. 9-7 Mustangs. Out of bounds, stays to the Mustangs. Now Corey Nesser will check in. Swintoski will take a seat. Nesser, a 5'9" sophomore, and what a fine game he played in their first matchup earlier this year with some great defense. Now Riley will sit down with those 2 fouls. And we get a near steal, and yes, there is a steal. Tim Hirsch, by the way, is in the game, number 50, for the Mustangs. Now the Raiders with a chance to tie. A 3 would put them back in the lead. 2:18 left, first quarter. Terrence Vaughns fakes it, takes it, doesn't make it. Some contact, but nothing called. Force gets the rebound. Mustangs looking to run. Mahoney swatted out of bounds by Vaughn to call a charge. David Winfrey had the position. Vaughns was there to swat it away just to be sure. And Mahoney is called. The scoreboard has that as his second foul. I just have him with 1 foul and Riley with 2, so we'll have to check that. Maybe it's the other way around. 3 team fouls on the Mustangs. Perhaps Mahoney has 2 and Riley only has 1. Again, the Raiders with a chance to tie. Brandon Duncan now in the game. 2 off the bench for the Raiders. And we're tied at 9. And now we're going to get a timeout called. As LH had some trouble inbounding. And Coach John calls a 30-second timeout with 1:42 remaining here in the first quarter, and we are tied at 9. All kinds of excitement, and just think it gets better starting next week when the playoffs start. And again, as we mentioned during the girls' game, so many teams are playoff bound from this area. We're going to get as many teams as we can, or many games as we can with the various teams that are in the playoffs. We are so looking forward to bringing you as many games as we possibly can. I'll be there. Jess Hudson will be there. And calm down, Dan. I can't verify this, but I hear strong rumors that the one and only Joseph Hogue will be back for the playoffs. This is what I hear. And you know it's big when Double O makes an appearance. Back to action, and the Mustangs, look at that move! Oh my goodness. Bursch scoring off the bench, and back comes Terrence Vaughns. Now that's what I'm talking about. End to end, we're tied at 11, 1:23 in the first quarter. And now Nesser underneath. Oh, the rejection! The dejection of the rejection by Jacobs. Back come the Raiders, but it's stolen. 3-on-2. Here's Hirsch. And he scores. 4 off the bench for Tim Hirsch, a 5'11 sophomore. perhaps unexpected to see that kind of early production. When you look at who to look out for in this game, he didn't necessarily come to mind, and now a walk will be called on Winfrey with 55 seconds remaining. And Hirsch will now take a seat as Riley re-enters, but boy, that was an effective minute and a half. 13-11, Laurel Highlands with the lead. Uniontown with pressure. Get it into force. Now he's double teamed. Nesser steps around Jenkins. Boy, Uniontown's so quick though. You think you got a little bit of space, then you don't. 3 by Radcliffe, no good. Look at the rebound by Force. Can't get the follow. And David Winfrey in amongst the tall trees for the rebound. Quick outlet to Jacobs, up, under. Can't get the shot, but draws contact. LH fans wanting a traveling called on that one, but not to be. And the foul is called on Mahoney, and that is his third. Oh, that's huge. 3 fouls on Timmy Mahoney, leading scorer with 7 points for the Mustangs. And that's not something that Mark John's going to be very happy about. That's a tough break for the Mustangs, and Mahoney will have to sit down as Swintoski checks back in. 33 seconds remaining in the first quarter, and that may and probably will be the last we see of Timmy Mahoney in the entire first half. I doubt we'll see him in the second quarter. You can't risk it with 3 fouls, and again, that's huge because he's been the LH offense so far. Jacobs hits them both. He's now 4 for 4 from the line in the period. And we are tied again at 13, our 4th tie of the first quarter. Now kicked underneath, Riley. Ball deflected out of bounds by the Raiders. 24.8 seconds left, first quarter, 13 aside. This is what we came for, this is what we've had. A nice, good, close one. Hoping for 3 more quarters of that. Jump hook by Riley, no good. Follows his shot and draws the foul. Good hustle by Dan Riley. I believe this one's going to be called on Chris Jacobs. And that is the 15th foul already on the Red Raiders. First on Jacobs. Riley's first one is no good. That's the first free throw of the period for Laurel Highlands. And again, free throw shooting just killed him in that first game. They missed 7 down the stretch, including 3 front ends of 1-and-1s. A potential 9 points they could have had, or I think 11 points they could have had. In a game they lost by 8. Do the math. Makes the second one. Mustangs by a point. 10 seconds left now. Raiders will play for the final shot. 8 seconds. We'll keep an eye on the clock. 6 seconds. Jenkins for 3. No good. Nesser gets the rebound. 2-1. That'll count if it goes. But the heave by Swintoski is no good. And that ends the first period of play. All we could have asked for. And we're just underway after 1 quarter of the score. The Laurel Highlands Mustangs 14. The Uniontown Red Raiders 13. Second quarter action right after this. Standard Television, it's Uniontown Laurel Highlands after 1 quarter. The Mustangs of LH lead at 14-13. Timmy Mahoney leading the way for Laurel Highlands with 7 points, but he's now on the bench with 3 personal fouls. Terrence Vaughns and Chris Jacobs each with 4 points for the Red Raiders, who scored the first 2 points of the game, but Laurel Highlands led most of the period. We did have 4 ties, and the Mustangs have the 1-point lead as we begin the second period of play. Laurel Highlands gets the first possession. Uniontown in the man-to-man, and the quick steal by Jenkins. Not a wise pass there by Riley. Now Uniontown, chance to regain the lead. Jenkins, feeling it. His second trifecta, and now we'll get a turnover. Radcliffe carrying the ball. Raiders will inbounds. And right away, Coach John wants a timeout. He's going to call a 30-second timeout, and he's already used both of his 30s, so he has none left. He has 3 fulls left, but none of his 30s left. Uniontown leads at 16-14. I think a wise choice, though, by Coach John, because, again, Uniontown, the kind of team, they get on a run. They can win a game in a 2-minute spurt at any point in the game, and you just get a feeling right now that this could be a dangerous position for Laurel Highlands. Boy, they're packing them in. Everybody's here in this gym. And you know it's a big game when a county commissioner can't even get a seat. Vince Vasidi's back here. They won't let him sit down. He's got to stand up behind us. Good thing I'm short, Vince. You can look over my shoulder. 7:40 left as we resume action. Uniontown with the lead and the ball. Wide open underneath. What a feed by Winfrey. And one. Jacobs with the score and the chance to convert the three-point play. Foul called underneath, and they call it on Timmy Mahoney. Coach John gambled, and that's a gamble he may regret. He put Mahoney back in the game. And my apologies, I didn't even catch that. I didn't realize he was back in there coming out of the timeout. Jacobs converts the three-point play. It's now 19-14. Coming out of the timeout, again, feeling that this was a crucial stretch. I can understand why he decided to take the risk. Now we had a turnover, but then they're called Jacobs for the travel, so it will come back the other way, and it's the Uniontown fans' chance to bark. And every call you make, half the people are going to be mad. Our officials tonight, by the way, Paul Stabile, Aaron Mickens, and Bernie George, the men in stripes. And again, they'll anger half of this gymnasium with every whistle that they blow. I don't envy their task. Now Swentowski, that foul will be called on the floor before the shot. The sixth team foul on the Raiders. So no free throws. Winfrey is going to be called. That's his first foul. Vaughns now checks back in. No, officials are not going to let him check in. He'll have to wait for the next dead ball. 19-14 Raiders. Boy, what a huge sequence. That three-point play by Jacobs, but more than the 3 points, the fact that Mahoney gets called for his fourth foul. That is just huge. Oh, crowd wanted to walk on Force. Instead, he gets the bucket. Fans aren't going to like that, but I think Nathan kept his pivot foot down. 4 for Force. It's a three-point game. Now Duncan gets it to Jenkins. Baseline jumper, no good. Farrell tries to keep it alive, but Nesser comes away with it for the Mustangs. Now LH could tie it with a home run. Jenkins kicking the ball. And now Vaughns will be able to check in with 6:53 remaining here in the first half. Winfrey will take a seat. So now Terrence Vaughns will run the point for the next sequence. We'll see how Uniontown does offensively without their tough point guard. We know how they'll do defensively. There's a steal. Jacobs, Vaughns. Follow no good with the foul. The Farrell follow, waved off. Vaughns will go to the line. I believe the officials are conferring now. We're going to get the foul called on Nesser. And it is a shooting foul. So Vaughns gets a pair. Nesser is called for his first foul. Both teams have now committed 6 fouls. So everything from here on out will result in free throws. Raiders lead by 3. Terrence Vaughns, one of the best free throw shooters you're ever going to see. This is a fine free throw shooting team among all the other things that the Raiders do well. And Vaughns especially, he was 20 of 21 from the free throw line the first time these two teams met. And that is just remarkable. Makes both this time around. It's 21-16. Raiders equal their largest lead at 5. And we get a steal. They're turning it up defensively. Long pass now. Vaughns. Oh, what a heads-up play as he bangs it out of bounds off of Radcliffe. And the Raiders will inbounds. I just can't praise TV enough. He does everything. He does everything so well. Such a smart player, in addition to just being a sound, all-around, skilled basketball player. 6:12 left in the half. Raiders by 5. Jacobs inside to Duncan, and send him to the line. Force will be called for his first foul. Jacobs has already converted 2 3-point plays. Now Duncan with a chance for the 3-point play. This would put Uniontown up by 8. 5 off the bench for Brandon. 6 minutes remaining here in the first half. And I'll tell you, this is a very important stretch right now for Laurel Highlands. Because you just get the feeling, and now Force, oh, he wanted to throw down, and he missed it. And he touched it last. We'll come back the other way. And they'll hoot and holler now. And I know what he's thinking. Look at that reaction. Look at this crowd. I love it. I love it. I know what he's thinking. He's trying to get a little momentum, have a big play here, get some excitement for the LH faithful, but I'll tell you what the Mustangs needed there. They needed 2 points. He needed to lay that ball up and just put it in and get the 2 instead of trying the slam. And now we get the foul called on Nesser. And that's his second foul. And now back to the line is Terrence Vaughns. And this will be a 2. And usually that means 2 points. And if you ever needed more proof of how big this game was, as Vaughns hits them both, look with the cat dragged in. It's Jess Hudson. Speak to me, Jess.
Amen, Brother Chuck. We've got a wild one here on our hands. I heard on the radio Tim Mahoney picked up his 4th foul here early, so.
That was huge, and when we get a moment, I want to get your take on that. And
Sure.
guess what? We got a moment. I'll tell you what, you talk about serendipity and the basketball gods being with us. We got to love it. You know, Mark John has just used his 3rd time out of the game. He's used both of his 30s. Now he's just called a full. But we're glad because that gives us a chance, first of all, to introduce Jess Hudson. Better late than never. We're so glad you could join us, Jess. Timmy Mahoney with 3 fouls in the first quarter, but you got a sense that Uniontown was taking, one of those stretches where they can put a game away. Coach John obviously felt he needed to put Mahoney in, but boy, he picks up that 4th foul. What do you think?
Well, this is not new for Coach Mark John. He has done this several times over the last couple years where he has permitted players to play in the second quarter with 3 personal fouls. Sometimes they get the 4th. I know it happened to Craig Radcliffe in the last year or 2. Sometimes they don't. But coaches know their teams better than we do. And you can see Tim is out there now.
Wow.
And you might as well. I mean, he's got 4. What are you going to do? Save him to the 4th quarter? The game might be out of reach. So at this point, I agree with playing Tim Mahoney. Most coaches probably would not agree with that, though, but I do.
Down by 10 points. Jess Hudson making a stand and staking his case. No, you make a good point. But with 5:21 left in the first half, Timmy Mahoney on the floor with 4. And it's not just the fact that it's a player out there with 4 fouls. He has 7 points. He's the only guy producing so far offensively for Laurel Highlands, so they really need him. But again, that would be an argument for putting him in there. I can understand the point. Now Duncan on the drive, no good, but he keeps it alive. And now Diehard Jenkins has 2 3-pointers, couldn't get that one to go. Now Mahoney with the rebound. Be careful, don't pick up an offensive foul. Kicks it off to Radcliffe, jumper no good. Force keeps it alive, and Swintoski, boy, nice try to save it between his legs.
The ironic thing here may be, Chuck, Tim Mahoney may play the rest of the game and not foul out. You watch.
And score 25 points. Yeah, you're right. Wouldn't surprise me. Anything that happens in this series wouldn't surprise me. Well, again, this is so typical of Uniontown. And far be it for me to say I told you so, but Jess, you weren't here. I mentioned in the first quarter, they struggle in the first quarter and then just come out like gangbusters in the second quarter. It seems like every game. And here they go. You look up and they're up by 10. And Carl Farrell says, I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. And now Winfrey to Diehard. And Coach John may need to use another timeout. 8 points for Diehard. It's a 14-point Red Raider lead. Nathan Force, short. Winfrey. And he'll slow it down. Baseline jumper, no good. By Farrell. Rebound, Radcliffe. Quick outlet to Swintoski. Swatted out of bounds. Who touched it last? Thought it might have bounced off of Swintoski's thigh, but officials keep the ball in Mustang possession. And my goodness, they got them on their feet now, Jess.
And the game of basketball is a game of runs, and the way Uniontown plays defense, they're going to get more runs than most teams.
Force with the score to finally break the Uniontown run of 15 straight points.
But what LH can't afford to do is lose their composure as we go to timeout. If they lose their composure and start getting into the perimeter turnovers, then it's going to be a long night for them. But they're only down 14. We've got 2.5 quarters to go. I mean, they've overcome bigger deficits than this, so they need to just take their time, keep their composure, and play whatever their game is, whatever their game plan is tonight.
Classic Dave Shuck, too. Uniontown scores 15 straight points, and they give up a layup. He calls timeout, a full timeout by the Raiders. Interesting now, a little birdie told me, Jess.
We have birdies around here.
We have birdies.
Joe Duncan.
A little birdie told me that the game plan for the Red Raiders tonight, starters go all the way, no matter what the score. Dave Shuck is not pleased with the way his team's been playing the last few games. He knows this is the last game before the playoffs. He wants a performance out of them tonight. He says if you score 100, you score 100, you're playing this game.
I can somewhat understand that, although I believe Kevin McClee is in...
Well, when I say starters, I mean the normal rotation. The normal rotation.
Absolutely. Sure, absolutely. As we talked Tuesday night when we did our broadcast at Ringgold, he said then that Uniontown has not been playing well for 10, 12 days in practice or in games, so last game before the playoffs, they want to get everything in sync.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the way he's looking. Plus, you add on top of that, their next game in the playoffs. Look at that move by Christian Jacobs with a chance for a third three-point play of the first half, and Nathan Force is called for his second personal foul. Just to finish the point, Jeff, you add on top of that the fact that when they do play in the playoffs, it won't be for at least a week. And depending on how many teams get in, if there's only 15 teams in and they get a first-round bye, it could be a week and a half. So that's a long layoff, too. Jacobs is 6 for 6 from the line. And as a team, the Raiders have hit all 11 of their first half free throws. They lead by 15. And a turnover. Now Jacobs has Farrell with him. Layup no good. And LH comes out of there. Ball kicked out of bounds. Farrell was trailing. I thought Christian might lay it back for him for the slam. Not to be that time around.
If we talk about layoffs going into the playoffs, the one good thing that WPIAL has done, you're allowed to scrimmage other teams that are still in the playoffs, so you do have a way to offset that a little bit.
Uniontown had a game scheduled for Monday, but earlier this season that game was wiped off the schedule, so they don't have that. And now we get another steal, and the Raiders are just cranking it up defensively, and Winfrey gets his first two of the night. 35-18. And this is getting serious now from the Mustang standpoint. They have got to make something happen, and quickly here, heading into the intermission. And Nathan Force will draw contact from Jenkins.
Now, I just walked in 2 minutes ago. I notice here tonight they're allowing the Raiders to play a little more aggressive physically, a little bit of hand check, a little bit of body, and that does give them an advantage.
Which I think is going to be key. Not that we want to look ahead to the playoffs just yet. We still got some ball to play tonight, but going into the playoffs, the one thing you worry about with Uniontown is a closely officiated game and they get into foul trouble.
Tonight's officials, all three of them are college officials, so it is tough to go from college to high school, back to college, back and forth a couple times each week. So I'm not sure that maybe that's the right thing, that they have college officials come down and do high school games when they're used to calling a college game most times during the week.
See, that's why we bring this guy. Those wonderful points, the things that I never would think of. That's why you're here. Now open underneath Farrell for a second. And now Terrence Vaughn's. That three is no good. Mustangs trail by 16. They need a bucket. 3 would be lovely. We're going to get a foul called. Mahoney puts it up from 2. Winfrey called. And that's his second foul. Mahoney will get a pair. And Jess, while Timmy Mahoney is in the line, I know you couldn't make it yesterday, and I know you just walked in today. I draw your attention to the far wall.
I see a banner.
Please tell the fans what you see. Yes, it was.
A banner.
We're getting the love.
TV. There you go.
Talking to my good friend Dewey Coatney from the football team this year. And I say my good friend because I go back to my WMBS days when he was a 10th grader. He was a guest on my radio show way back then. So we go way back. I was talking to him before the game. I said, who's responsible for that banner? And he said, it's all of us. It's the whole student body. We all love HSTV. So I'm sharing the love right back. We love it. 1 out of 2. for Mahoney. And that's been the story for Laurel Highlands tonight. 1 out of 2 from the line. Or actually, no, 0 out of 2. He missed them both. And now open underneath. Oh, Phil says it again. I'm coming up. So you better get this party started. And one.
Everything going all Uniontown's way here early. Laurel's down 18. You need to try to chip away and maybe get it to 12 at halftime, and then they're still in the ballgame. But if they let it go past 20, I mean, it's going to be a long night. And when Carl Farrell hits free throws, you know Uniontown's on. I know I took that right out of your mouth.
Yes, you sure did, and that's quite all right. 2 minutes left now. It's a 19-point game. Boy, they need this 3. That's a big one. We don't mean to root, but let's be honest, we want a close game. Well, I'll be honest, I wanted that 3 to go in. We don't care who wins, but we want it to be competitive, so we want to see LH creep back in here. Right now it's a 16-point game. And a steal. Nope. Winfrey chases it down. Look at that hustle by Mahoney with 4 fouls. Woo, that's dangerous.
Great hustle, but not real intelligent, with all due respects to Tim. It's just not worth it. He has to play very smart.
They do get the ball, though. The officials, after conferring, are going to give the ball to Laurel Highlands. And I think Coach John, now that his heart came back out of his throat.
but I think he was going to do this anyway. This is a good move. You've gotten a little bit from Tim Mahoney with 4 fouls. Take him out so that he doesn't get his 5th.
Discretion, the better part of valor there. And now with 1:38 left, LH will see if they can just chip away. Nesser with the drive. Nicely done by Corey Nesser. 38-24. Now you wonder, does Dave Shuck maybe take the air out of the ball in this situation? Nope, does not. Look at David Winfrey.
Things are going all their way. It wouldn't make sense, but I'm sure some coaches might think that way.
Winfrey takes it to the house. He has 4. Turnover Mustangs.
And those are the kind that really hurt, where they're unforced. Uniontown plays great defense, but that was all on Laurel Highlands.
Coach Shuck always coaching. Sends De'Aaron Jenkins to the scoring table. He'll come in. During the next dead ball, we are now in the final minute of the half. 40-24. Uniontown trailed 14-13. After 1 quarter of play, and I mean, it's been all Uniontown. And now they are going to, it looks like, well, let's not say they'll play for 1. They've played possum with this setup in the past. Couple passes, and then get that backdoor cut. And with a 16-point lead, Coach Shuck says, you want to give me the final shot? I'll be happy to go into the locker room up by at least 16, and perhaps as much as 18 or 19.
If I was Laurel, I would not have permitted them to go for 1. I would have created the action. If Uniontown gets a shot, hopefully they force enough action so at least LH gets 1 in return.
Winfrey gets it to Farrell. Can't get the roll. 3 seconds left. LH, time to fling one. Here's Force. This is for 3 if it goes off the rim. Oh, so close. What a quarter for the Uniontown Red Raiders as they outscore Laurel Highlands 27-10. And at the half, your score. The Uniontown Red Raiders 40. The Laurel Highlands Mustangs 24. Back with our halftime program right after this. Back it is halftime. Chuck Durso along with Jess Hudson, 40-24. The Uniontown Red Raiders lead at the half. Capacity crowd, we're packing them in here at the Everhart Memorial Gymnasium. We're so crowded that we're up in front of doorways, up against walls here. We're probably going to get knocked over a couple times. But look, it's Jess Hudson. Good to have you with us.
Well, Chuck, you were expecting me at halftime. I got here 10 minutes early.
We love it. We love it. We'll pay you a little extra for that. Hey, I'll tell you, unfortunately, you missed the best part of the first half from a competitive standpoint. Laurel Highlands was very much in this game during the first quarter, but Uniontown just took over in the second quarter, and that's the mark of this Red Raider team. We'll talk about the Mustangs in a moment, but the mark of this Red Raider team is their ability to go on those kinds of runs.
They could be down 10 points at halftime, Chuck. And as long as they're playing that relentless, swarming, piranha-like defense, they can go off on a 10-0, 18-4 run over the span of 4 or 5 minutes at any time. And apparently that's what happened here tonight.
And when they're shooting well from outside, they're doubly dangerous. What's impressive tonight is they didn't shoot well early. They shot much better in the second quarter. Laurel Highlands got off to a great start, and when you play Uniontown, you want to at least stay in the game for that first quarter. Laurel Highlands led by a point in the first quarter, so certainly they came out and played hard, and they're still playing hard here. And I don't know, 16 points, insurmountable?
I would never say that. Laurel obviously came into this game trying to bring their A game and played with a lot of emotion and passion. Still playing with that same passion, but they're making too many mistakes, and Uniontown is not a team where you can make mistakes because they capitalize in so many ways. 16 points, no, anything can happen, especially with a three-point shot. They get 2 threes, and it's 10 points, boom, boom, boom. So, no, it's not over. Absolutely not.
Strategy as far as Coach John is concerned now. He has Timmy Mahoney with 4 fouls. He played him most of that second period with 4 fouls, got away with it, so I would assume you start him for the second half.
Absolutely. What do you have to lose? One thing the Mustangs need to keep in mind, there are no 16-point plays. So look at it as a 16-minute ball game. Try to play one possession at a time. If they can go from 16 to 9 or 8 to start the fourth quarter, they're still right there. So don't try to get it all back in a couple minutes. That's not the way to go about it. Still keep your patience.
And of course, the other thing to keep in mind is, even though they're the road team, there are a lot of LH fans here, so it's not like the crowd's all against you. You get on a run, and you can get this Mustang crowd going, and you can feed off of that. It almost becomes like a home game.
Sure. When I first came in, I was looking for how many LH fans got in. I don't think Uniontown gives them too many tickets, but that works both ways. But yeah, there's enough here for LH to feed off of. Again, they need to play one possession at a time.
It's 40-24. The Red Raiders with a 16-point lead, trailing by 1 after 1 quarter, but they just came out like gangbusters in the second quarter, as they've done all season long. That's been a Uniontown trademark. I'm sure Coach Shuck would like to get rid of the bad first quarters, though, as he heads into the postseason.
Well, and this is like a playoff game, no matter whether one team's in the playoffs or one's not, no matter what the record. So this is good. This is a wake-up call. And if it took LH to get them out of their 2-week doldrums, as Dave Shuck was telling us, so be it. So be it. But it works both ways. Even if LH loses in defeat, it's very important how you lose. And they want to keep their composure and be competitive here in the last 16 minutes.
Especially because of what we talked about before, the way they stumbled into the postseason last year and starting to look that way again this year. So they need a strong second half. These are the 16 minutes they can make a statement going into the playoffs. It's 40-24, the Raiders lead. We got Jess Hudson, we got banners on the wall, we got a crowd full of fans, and we have a second half coming up right after this. Put down the remote. Jess, tell them, put down the remote.
Put down that remote.
Right down.
D, 11. O, 65. Oh my! I've got bingo! Now you can have bingo too.
Backed by popular demand, it's the Herald Standard Super Bingo Bonanza. Enjoy 8 weeks of bingo starting January the 27th through March 22nd. Look for a new bingo card each Sunday in the Parade magazine and the Herald Standard. Win part of $2,000 given away during Super Bingo Bonanza.
Check the numbers published each day in the Herald Standard against your weekly bingo card. If you get a full card bingo, also known as coverall, you win! B-I-N-G-O, bingo! You win!
Look for complete details in Sunday's Herald Standard.
And welcome back. Getting ready to start the second half. Chuck Durso alongside Jess Hudson. It's 40-24. We're going to have a slight delay here to start the half while some fans filter in. Again, tight spaces here at Uniontown, so they're going to let all the fans go and sit down. Should mention, as we mentioned during the first half, that we had hoped to do as we did for the girls' game and have a floor-level camera tonight, but the officials wouldn't allow us to have a floor-level camera because there's just not enough room along the baseline on this in the tight confines of this gymnasium, so we weren't able to bring you a floor-level shot. But perhaps when the playoffs roll around, we'll be able to resume that. Now everybody has sat down, or most of the fans have sat down. A few still filtering in. We're back to action. De'Aaron Jenkins with a quick turnaround, and Farrell will be called over the top. Carl Farrell picked up 2 fouls right in the first minute of the basketball game. Had to sit down for much of the first quarter, but did he come up big with 5 points in the second quarter on 2 slams, 1 a three-point play. Now he has 3 fouls, though, and a quick steal by Jenkins on the inbounds. Gets it to Jacobs for the score. Not the start the Mustangs wanted. 11 points for Chris Jacobs. He's the leading scorer for the Red Raiders. And now Vaughns with the near steal. Riley underneath. No good. Gets it back. And a foul will be called on the floor. I think this may be on Winfrey. And that will be his third. So if there is a cloud on the horizon for Dave Shuck and the Red Raiders, it would be 3 fouls on Farrell and Winfrey especially. You wouldn't want to get them in foul trouble and have to sit them down for any extended minutes. LH will now inbounds again under the basket as the Raiders knocked it out of bounds. 7:21 left in the third quarter. Uniontown by 18. They led by as much as 19 in the first half. Mahoney's 3 no good. Vaughns tips the ball, but it goes out of bounds. Mustangs will retain possession. Force and Mahoney leading scorers with 7 aside for Laurel Highlands. In the first half, Riley's shot no good. Mahoney's points all came early. After he got in foul trouble, though, he did not score again. Jenkins has 8. Vaughns also has 8 for the Raiders. Underneath by Winfrey, no good. Now the Mustangs looking with perhaps a chance to run. Fans wanted a walk called there. Swintowski bobbled the ball. Couldn't get the shot to go, and the follow by Mahoney also no good. McLee, who's in the game now for Farrell, gets the rebound. Now Jacobs. Pass deflected to McLee, and he draws the foul.
Laurel hasn't scored here in the early goings of the third quarter, but I like what they're doing. They're attacking the hoop. Too bad they've missed 3 or 4 bunnies in the tap-in.
Tough shooting luck, and now Nathan Force is called for his 4th personal foul. And it just goes from bad to worse. For the Mustangs, you don't even think about taking them out, huh?
Not at this point, not when you're down 19. And again, he may play the rest of the game and not foul out. It'd be interesting to see how things work out.
How long they both can go, yeah.
Sure.
McLee makes them both.
And when you're in the playoffs and tight games, your best players need to be able to play in foul trouble. So even if it doesn't work out here tonight, maybe this will help them in the playoffs.
Raiders have made all 14 of their free throws in this game. There's a steal by Diehard. Jenkins, who wants to go coast to coast, he'll go to the line and shoot a pair. Riley will be called. That's his 2nd. Out of those 14 free throws, none by Diehard. This is his 1st from the line.
Well, if you recall, in the first game, Uniontown shot almost 35 fouls to Laurel's 12-ish. Terrence Vaughns shot 20-some, only missed 1. Yeah, so Uniontown has a decided advantage on the free throw line.
And I've mentioned many times as we head into the playoffs, free throw shooting can be so important when you're in a close game to salt the game away if you have a 4 or 5 point lead. And so many teams, not only in high school but in college these days, just can't shoot free throws. And we saw the Pitt Panthers last night against Seton Hall almost blow a 19-point lead because they couldn't hit free throws. When you have a good free throw shooting team at this level, sometimes that's a rarity, and Uniontown shoots so well as a team. 6:25 left in the third period. Jenkins makes them both. And the Raiders, their largest lead at 22. And right now, at least for the moment, the air has been taken out of this crowd. And that's unusual in this game. Steal by McLee, but he throws it away. Now the pull-up jumper, no good by Radcliffe. Ball comes out to Jacobs. There's a lot of LH fans up here in the balcony to our left, Jess, and it was very noisy. We had a hard time hearing ourselves in the first half, and it's much quieter right now. But again, one run. One run by the Mustangs to keep that crowd right back in it.
5:45 left. Vaughn's baseline. 10 points for Terrence, and a steal. And it's all Uniontown. They have doubled up on the Mustangs. 48-24. Vaughn's baseline. And no, the tape's not skipping. We just made another one.
Uniontown just running on all cylinders here, not skipping a beat. And when Uniontown runs on all cylinders, they're tough to beat. If they play on all cylinders, the sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx them, and I'll deny I ever said this. We'll erase the tape. But I'm not the only one who feels this way. At least in the WPIAL tournament, I think the only team that can beat Uniontown is Uniontown.
Absolutely, and I think that Dave Shuck's kids will tell you that. If we play well, we play our game, we'll win. And that is true. We all truly believe that. We've talked about Uniontown and making the WPIAL championship game last year, the state championship game the last year, and we talk about the capabilities. We haven't put any.
I hope it's the attitude of the rest of the team, too. Going into the playoffs, confident, as you said, Jess, but Terrence did tell me, one bad night's all it takes. We have to be ready to play each and every game. We can't let up for one single night. And that's the right attitude.
And the good thing about that is, if you're not a good defensive team and you don't shoot well, you're in big trouble. But Uniontown is an excellent defensive team, and that will keep them in ball games if they're not shooting well.
I don't know if there are adjectives to describe the kind of defense this Uniontown team plays.
Relentless, piranha-like.
Piranha-like. As always, you've come up with the words, Jess. You are a true professional. 26-point Red Raider lead. Christian Jacobs can't get it to go. Rebound pulled down by Hirsch. He had 4 first-quarter points off the bench to help the Mustangs get out to an early lead. Now Nathan Force with the baseline turnaround. 9 points for Nathan. He's leading the Stangs. 50-26, 4.5 minutes left in the third quarter. That time the baseline jumper off the side of the backboard by Terrence. Swintoski, look at the speed by D.R. Jenkins. They'll call him for the double dribble. Swintoski saw Mahoney open on the wing, makes the quick brisk bounce pass. I mean, it wasn't a lazy pass, but such speed defensively. 4:17 left in the third period. Mustangs trail by 24. Now Swintoski thinks about the three. Radcliffe takes the three. And now the long rebound, and here come the running Raiders. And Terrence Vaughns loses it. Tried a little stop and go action. Ball got away from him. Mustangs will come back down court. Too early to start flinging up threes?
Oh, you always want to take threes when your feet are set if it's from within your offense. If you're forcing the three, yes, it's too early, but if it comes within your offense, take as many of those as you can get.
Swintoski missing that three, and tough luck on the follow from Riley as the shot doesn't go, and then a foul called on Laurel Highlands on the rebound. That will be called on Hirsch, his first. That's the third team foul on LH. 3:46 left, and the Raiders will come back down court looking to extend a 24-point lead.
The thing about shooting threes, and you force them at this point, Chuck, the score can go the other way. If you're not hitting, it can be 40 real quick, and that's not going to do them any good.
Because not only are you not scoring, but you're releasing Uniontown, because usually when you miss a three, it's a long rebound. And yeah,
Good
you're
point.
right. You're
Good
right.
point.
Things go from bad to worse. Now the Mustangs come back. Riley underneath, couldn't get it. Look at that hustle. Oh, but the Raiders just too much defensively, and Riley is called for the foul. He doesn't like it. And that will be his third. Fourth team foul in the Mustangs. Gotta like the hustle, because Dan Riley never quit there.
A tough call to go against him. He was bumped a little bit, and then he got the short end of the stick, but they need to keep their composure. Again, just play one possession at a time.
Riley knocks that one out of bounds. Mahoney and Force will check back in. Hirsch and Riley will take a seat for the Mustangs. A reminder to any area businesses out there as the playoffs begin, you want to be part of this great playoff atmosphere, which is just as much fun as this game you're witnessing here tonight in terms of the electricity. And any businesses out there that would like to sponsor playoff games here on HSTV, you let us know, because we want to bring as many games as possible, and unfortunately the WPIAL they just won't let us do them for free.
Yeah, they charge a hefty price, but our fans back here want to see Uniontown.
And the rest of the area teams as well. So we have lots of games, so everybody get on board. There's a follow, another score for the Raiders, and now a foul will be called on Barnes. Fans are greedy. And now we get a turnover. We'll come back the other way. 52-26 Raiders. This is not unusual, the margin of victory. This is what Uniontown's been doing most of the season. They've had very few close games. By 2 at Central Catholic a couple weeks back. At Laurel Highlands, they only won by 8. But not tonight, as Terrence Vaughns is getting his 3 on. His first trifecta of the evening. It's a 29-point game. Now Force underneath. Official says the ball was slapped, so no travel was called. Nathan now has 11. Nesser, he's quick out there, got to be careful. Nice entry pass, Duncan to Jacobs. Shot doesn't go. Force with the rebound, and McCree will be called for the foul. .212 left in the third quarter, 55-28. Yeah, you're talking about all 4 of these teams, boys and girls, Uniontown, Laurel Highlands. AG girls are in, Carmichael's boys and girls. The Geibel boys are in, Mapletown girls. A lot of area teams. We're going to try to bring you the flavor of the WPIAL playoffs as much as we can and try to bring you all kinds of action. So make sure you tune into your local listings here on HSTV for all of that wonderful playoff action. Beautiful dish. Barnes, Jacobs score. And a drive by Mahoney. Timmy Mahoney's first 2 points since he got into foul trouble earlier in the game. He now has 9. 57-30. Minute and a half remaining here in the third quarter. Nesser hounding Terrence Vaughns up top. Winfrey right now on the bench, so Terrence running the point. 5-second count is on. Terrence gets away from Nesser, breaks him down, and makes the bucket. And 17 points. Go ahead.
And this is good for Uniontown with David Winfrey out of the game, which may happen in the playoffs. Foul trouble, injury, illness. Terrence Vaughns is the next person in line to play the point. So here he gets some time in a big game, even though it's a 29-point game. It's an emotional game. It's a playoff-type atmosphere, so this can only help Terrence Vaughns if he needs to go from the 2 to the 1 somewhere down the line in February or March.
30-second timeout called by Uniontown. Jess, TV, Terrence Vaughns. I don't call him TV because he plays so well on TV. But next level?
And Terrence is one of the students in the area that has qualified to be eligible to play at the next level. I'm not sure what schools are interested at this point, but Terrence will make someone at some level a very fine player because he's not only a good player and a good student, he's a quality citizen, and that's what coaches look for in college.
Division II, Division I?
I'm not sure.
I think, I think he's right on the border there. I think he can definitely help any program that he joins. Back to action now. Mahoney misses the 3. Kevin McLee's going to Division I football, along with Carl Farrell. They signed their letters of intent to West Virginia earlier this week. Or saw the picture in the paper earlier this week. I'm not sure exactly when they signed the letters. Now Jacobs chases it down in the corner, and they say his foot was on the baseline. So we'll come back the other way with 49 seconds left. Vaughn's looking, by the way, at some Division I schools, Ivy League, Patriot League type schools, and I can definitely see him playing at that level. Now we got a scramble in the corner, and it's going to be Red Raider basketball. 37 seconds left, Raiders in the third quarter. Raiders by 29. Riley now checks back in. Force will take a seat.
Winfrey in, and Jenkins will sit down for the Raiders. So they'll put Winfrey in now to handle the ball for this perhaps final possession of the quarter. And they go into their weave. LH has to be careful. This is where they'll like to lull you to sleep. Hit the backdoor cut. 15 seconds. We'll keep an eye on the clock for you. 10 seconds. Now Jacobs. Got to start to look to the basket. Here's Vaughn. 6 seconds. Brandon Duncan wide open. Oh, ball got away from him. Saved by Nesser. 1 second. Got to fling it. It will not count. The officials say it came after the buzzer, and that will end the third quarter of play. After 3 quarters, the score, Uniontown 59, Laurel Highlands 30, fourth and final quarter up next on HSTV Sports.
Did I say one of the few?
Fayette Tire, located at 350 Pittsburgh Street in Uniontown, would like to introduce the newest member of their tire family, the American Car Care line. Protect your investments with our nationwide tire warranty. We offer 90 days same as cash with our preferred customer credit card, the card for your car. So stop in at Fayette Tire Company, your American Car Care Center, and see the men who know tires best. Seton & Bowman Incorporated, the oldest independent insurance agency in Fayette County. We have specialists for home, auto, business, life, and health insurance, contractor bonding, and financial services. Call us at 724-438-6611.
For help with any of your legal matters, Davis & Davis has 2 convenient offices to serve you, Uniontown and Brownsville. They offer evening and weekend appointments and will even come to your home. Davis & Davis, a team of professionals working for you.
Welcome back. Chuck Durso along with Jess Hudson, ready for the fourth quarter. It's 59-30 Uniontown, and no pretty way to say it that this so far looks like a blowout.
Well, obviously the game is probably determined, to put it modestly, but Laurel just needs to keep pecking away like as if the score is 0-0. And if I said Terrence is one of the few in the area, I meant to say one of the many in the area that has qualified, so I apologize if I said that. So Laurel, again, just play one possession at a time, keep the emotional level up, play with a passion, and see what happens.
I knew what you meant, Jess. We all knew what you meant. Hey, a three-point opportunity for the Mustangs as Dan Riley puts it in, and he'll go to the line. That foul, not sure who that foul was called on. I thought the official signaled 42, and Uniontown doesn't have a 42. Oh, 52, okay, it was Kevin McLeod. And he sits down to the chance of boo from the fans. Carl Farrell comes back in. That was Riley's first field goal of the night. He has 3 points.
And when McLeod and Farrell alternate at the same spot, they don't lose much there. I mean, Farrell, the much more explosive jumper, but McLeod's an excellent jumper himself, and they really get a lot of contributions from 2 people in one spot.
Riley converts the three-point play. Paul Przinski is now in the game. His first action of the night for Laurel Highlands. He is a 6'3 junior, wears number 31. Just underway in the fourth quarter. It's 60-32. Now Vaughn's in the open court, but strong with the layup. Farrell tried to follow, but it was stripped. Comes back out. And now Terrence Vaughn's can't get the drop on the 3. Look at Farrell. Sky for the follow. Elevation, the name of Carl Farrell's game. And now the foul called on the Mahoney shot. And I think he'll get 2 for that. I think that would have counted had it gone down. Well, again, it looked like the official signals 42 as I'm looking up here. They don't have a 42. Must have been 32. No, it was 30.
Come on, Chuck.
What's going on here? Wait a minute.
You're all mesmerized by that HSTV banner over there.
That must be it. I got to shine up these glasses here. The peeps are failing me. I love that banner, Jess. I'm telling you that right now. I'm feeling the love from Uniontown, and when the playoffs start, by the way, we encourage handhelds. Handheld signs. We'll put the camera on them, right?
Absolutely.
Eric Zakova giving me the yes on that one. Yeah. We'll show him love on camera. Mahoney misses them both. And I'll tell you something heading into the playoffs, too. We talked about Uniontown, what a great free throw shooting team they are. Laurel Highlands, quite frankly, from what I've seen from them, is not. And they need to work on that come postseason, because that will come back to bite them. Winfrey stepped on the sideline for a turnover. I've only seen LH a couple times this year, but they really have struggled from the line.
Well, if you're head down the stretch, sometimes that's not an issue, so they'll hope to play from the lead.
There you go. From a big enough lead. The three. Timmy Mahoney. His first three since the first period. And now we get a travel call, so we'll come back the other way. So Laurel Highlands trying to give the Mustang faithful something to clap about. 61-37 is your score right now. And Nesser, nice screen by Riley. Carl Farrell had designs on the swat. Now we'll get the foul called in the backcourt on the Mustangs. Riley will be called. That will be his fourth. Farrell wanted the block, but Riley's had a nice screen there to block off Farrell, and Nesser was able to score. If you're Coach John, is it too? Am I oversimplifying it when I say you're just looking for the team to play hard the rest of the way?
That's about it. You play hard and try to maximize each possession, and it's at 22. Your next goal is to cut it to 17, and then you go from there to the next level.
6.5 minutes remaining. Backdoor cut, Brandon Duncan. 7 for Duncan off the bench. 63-39. Now Riley. Foul will be called on the floor on Bonds. Not a shooting foul, but it is the 7th team foul on the Raiders. So Riley will go to the line for the 1-and-1.
And we've talked about this before, I think, during the last Uniontown LH broadcast. 3 and 4 years ago, when Uniontown employed this semi-delay game, the fans booed, they were critical of Dave Shuck, and many times the Raiders did not run it well. They turned it over. Here they are as seniors, and they're just running it to perfection, and they extend their lead out of it.
Well, Riley misses the front end of a 1-and-1. Laurel Highlands is 3 of 10 from the free throw line. Uniontown is 16 of 16. And again, in a 24-point game, that's not the difference, but it is noteworthy nonetheless. 5:52 left. And there comes that weave, but there's the steal. Nesser with the drive. Corey Nesser with 6 off the bench. 63-41 and another steal. And now Nathan Force over Farrell. Farrell did not challenge that one. And another near steal. Out of bounds. Mustang ball. Yeah, you know what's coming up. Yeah, absolutely. Dave Shuck is going to call a timeout.
Focus in on Coach Dave Shuck, and I believe he'll be a little animated with his troops. There we go. There we go. Again, even if you're up 40 and you turn it over a couple times, Dave Shuck will not stand for that.
He has not been pleased with the way his team has played early in games recently. He made it very clear, and we mentioned during the first half, that his strategy coming into the game was to play his regular rotation the entire game, no matter what the score, because he wants to see a complete game out of them. And I don't know if he'd call this a complete game or not, because they weren't real solid in the first quarter, but he certainly doesn't want to let down here in the fourth period.
Well, they've got the timeout time running up there. I don't know what's left, maybe 5+ minutes, 6 minutes. But
we're under 6 minutes left.
Under 6. So we'll see how the Raiders respond out of a timeout. That's very important. When you're on defense and you come out of a timeout, you want to get a stop. If you're on offense, you want to get a good shot, hopefully a hoop. So we'll see how they respond here. And the Mustangs not giving up, and that's where they need to be. Keep hustling, keep busting. They're at 20, see if they can bring it to 17, and then you try to get to the next step.
Coach John did go to his bench, though, and brought in Brian John right before that timeout, number 10, for his first action of the night, but he's not in there right now as we come back out of the timeout. 5:28 left in the fourth quarter. Uniontown by 20. Mustangs with the ball. Riley on the drive, draws contact from Duncan. I don't know what margin of victory would make
Coach Chuck happy, although, quite frankly, he's probably not looking at the margin as much as, again, how they're playing on the court. Riley is 2 of 5 from the free throw line. Misses them both. Uniontown will try to extend the advantage now. Bonds in and out for 3. Foot might have been on the line there, not sure. And a near throwaway. Yep, turnover. They're going to say ball was last touched by Mahoney. Force now back in. Riley will take a seat. 5:05 left in this one. Raiders by 20. This win will move them to 23-1 to close out the regular season and an unbeaten 12-0 in Section 2. Now they throw it away. Force. Jacobs with the quick hands. And he'll slow it down. Double team. And a jump ball. Possession arrow pointing towards Uniontown's hoop. 4:39 left in this one. Again, the first game of the season went right down to the wire between these two teams. We were hoping for one just as close and competitive, and for about 10 minutes we had it. Now Nesser off the steal, and the foul will be called on Winfrey. And that will be his 4th, and Corey Nesser will go to the line for a pair. LH led at 14-13 after one quarter. They led 16-15 a couple of minutes into the second quarter. And then Uniontown went on a 15-point run and pretty much put the game away right at that point. And LH has not gotten closer than 14 points since then.
We might have to send our HSTV free throw shooting coach Eric Zukovic up to Mustang Hill, let him work with these Mustang players here on free throws.
Missed them both. They are 3 out of 14. I'm going to tell you in a second who that got to drive nuts. Oh, Farrell wanted to throw down. Didn't work, and now he draws the foul. Oh, Carl Farrell, who had 2 slammer jammers in the first half, and he wanted the hat trick there. And you saw that look on his face. And that was priceless. He wanted that one. Foul is called on Nesser, his 3rd. I know he's not coaching Laurel Highlands anymore, but there's a young man on the bench over there on the Uniontown side, Rob Kesmarski, one of the finest free throw shooters you've ever seen. And he coached many of these youngsters when they were on the LHJV team. It's got to drive him nuts to see them not making free throws. He's got to be happy about it in the sense that it's the enemy team, but still, he's got to be saying, wait, that's not the way I coached him. Farrell made the first, missed the second, and now we get another foul. By the way, is that the 5th foul for somebody? Yeah, Nathan Force. And the Uniontown fans will wave bye-bye. There's Nathan Force. What a fine season it's been for this young man, who has been a force inside so often for Laurel Highlands, leading scorer for the Mustangs at 19.5 points per game. What a player he's been, and we speak as if his career is over, and of course it's not, because he has at least one and hopefully more WPIAL playoff games, and if they win one, then we're talking about PIAA state playoff games as well, so we'll see more of that young man. What a fine season. And he played hard out there tonight as well. By the way, when Farrell missed that free throw a few moments ago, that was Uniontown's first miss from the line. They had made their first 17 tonight until that miss. Now Duncan misses, so 2 in a row for the Raiders. 64-43, 4:03 left. Duncan strong on the second one as well, but the ball batted out by Jacobs. So Uniontown gets another look. Duncan underneath. Carl Farrell wanted it again. And they're going to call a technical foul for hanging on the rim on Farrell.
I think it was, it was hanging, and he did the chin-up, which is unnecessary. Okay, I've been watching too much TV, and we pick up bad habits from what we see on, on TV. So it's the chin-up, really, that got him.
Because you'll get a little bit of leeway in traffic as far as hanging on the rim. He did have some guys underneath him, so they'll let that go to an extent. But
good point.
With a little extra, huh? So Radcliffe makes the free throw. That's his first free throw of the night. Can't get that one to go down. 64-44, and now the Mustangs will inbound. Boy, Farrell's determined to get another slam. Does not happen, and Radcliffe misses the three. I know what it is. He wants me to say, look out below. We might get to it. 3:20 left. I can't. Near steal. Now Jacobs. I don't want to belabor the point, Jess, but I just can't get over how quiet it is in this gym for a Uniontown Laurel Highlands game. Jacobs couldn't get the shot to go. Now Nesser in traffic, and the foul will be called. I love that move Chris Jacobs does, that where he kind of brings the ball up, that scoop, and the little hop step that looks like a travel but isn't. And it's a very effective move for him. Didn't get the shot to go down that last time down, though. Vaughns is called for his fourth. Nesser will go to the line. It's the 10th team foul on the Raiders, so double bonus situation, and Corey will get a pair. 2:53 left. Fourth quarter, 64-44. Final regular season game for both of these teams. And we go to the playoffs. Lots of playoff action here on HSTV. And as I mentioned before you arrived, Jess, in the first half, I'll be doing playoff games. Schedule permitting, I know you'll be doing playoff games. Chris Jacobs with the layup from Duncan. But the big news, Joe Ho will be doing playoff games.
The return of Joseph Ho.
Absolutely, as Mahoney scores. And now Duncan as we go end to end. And a foul. Send him to the line. Good old double O. Joe Ho.
That's Eric Zakovic's main man, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. They're going to be traveling all together. They talk about partners in crime. He's the charter member.
And Joe gets excitable during these games.
Duncan converts the three-point play. Double figures off the bench for Brandon. He has 10. And Terrence Vaughns will be called for the foul. And that will be the fifth foul on Terrence Vaughns. So he fouls out. Don't see that very often. And, of course, it doesn't matter in this game. But that will conclude the regular season career of one of the finest players to play basketball in Uniontown High School, and he's getting his props from this crowd. Terrence Vaughns with 17 points, 6 field goals including a three-pointer, 4 for 4 from the line. Scored his 1,000th point last year. He's been a 4-year contributor. Starter on the state finalist team 2 years ago, starter on the WPIAL finalist team last year, and the leading scorer for Uniontown at 19.1 points per game. How much time do you think Coach John's going to spend on free throw shooting during the off time here before the playoffs?
Well, when you're not shooting free throws well, I remember some of our teams, what we tried to stress is not how many you missed. We would say attack the hoop and let's just get there. We want to get more free throws in case we shoot a lower percentage. So LH has been to the line, I don't know, umpteen times tonight. Probably closing in on 18 or 20, yeah. So you just want to keep getting there, and the percentages will even out for them, hopefully.
Messer with the layup. Trouble is, out of those 20, they've only made 6. 30% from the line. And now the baseline jumper, not good, by Ricky Wilson, who's now in the game. Vaughn's fouling out, and Coach Shuck does go to the bench. Now we're going to get a foul called, I believe, on the Mustangs. Wilson, number 50, is in there. Also Todd Jackson, number 3, now in the game for the Raiders. And that foul is going to be the 5th on Timmy Mahoney. Jess, you wondered how long he'd be able to go with 4 fouls. He almost made it through the whole game.
Well, sometimes when you're in foul trouble, you play smarter, and you don't take the risk that you normally take. Other than him sliding for that ball on the far corner with 4 fouls, Timmy played a very smart game defensively and offensively, didn't go out of control to the hoop where he'd be susceptible to the charge.
And he is the leading scorer for Laurel Highlands as Duncan misses the front end of the 1-and-1 with 14 points. Force, who's also fouled out, has 13. Nesser, the leading scorer among those players on the floor right now, with 9. John can't get the reverse layup to go. Now Swintoski loses it. Minute 42 left. Raiders lead by 19, 69-50. That's as close as we've been here in the second half. There was a 16-point game at the half, 40-24, but Uniontown very quickly in the third quarter just extended that lead into the mid-20s. Now we're at 19. Winfrey goes to the line. The 10th team foul on the Mustangs, so the double bonus now. 2 free throws for Winfrey. We'll get some substitutions for the Mustangs after the first free throw. Exactly 1.5 minutes remaining. That foul was called on Riley, and that is his 5th foul, so he's the 3rd Mustang to foul out. He leaves with 4 points. No reason to hang your head if you're the Laurel Highlands Mustangs, although they have to be disappointed about losing 4 of their final 7 section games after starting the season 5-0 in the section. They go 3-4 down the stretch. That has to be disappointing, but losing by 19 to Uniontown, hey, just join the club.
Well, the good thing, and we've said it many times here on our broadcasts, whether you lose by 1 or 50 or 19, it's only 1 loss, and everyone starts over anew entering the playoffs, so it's a matter of what's underneath your shirt, your heart, and what's between your ears, your intelligence, etc., etc.
Winfrey misses them both, but then runs down the loose ball. It's a second season, and it starts in about a week, and we find out Tuesday night who plays who, when, and where. There's a steal. Radcliffe will pull up for the long 3. I like that on the break. 3 off the break, and actually they're making it more respectable here now at the end. A final score that may not quite indicate the way the entire game went, but now Winfrey on the drive, and he has 6. David Winfrey looking to drive to the basket often tonight, and that was a story as well. Duncan with the steal. Thought about spotting up for the 3. Jacobs loses it. Open court, high off the glass, doesn't go. And the follow, and we're going to get a foul. Jacob Miller with that layup way up high off the glass, and Paul Brzezinski on the follow. He'll get to go to the line as Coach John has cleared his bench. 31 seconds left. Brzezinski hits. Robert Sargent, number 10, checks in for the Red Raiders as Duncan will take a seat. Brzezinski hits them both, and now he'll take a seat. Chris Sampson, number 3, checks in. Final half minute, 71-55. Now Wilson underneath. Ball comes out to Jacobs. Wide open for a second there was Sargent underneath. Couldn't handle the pass from Jacobs. 10 seconds left. We'll get one more fling up from the Mustangs and then go on home and get ready for the playoffs. Stolen by Sargent. Now Winfrey. Ricky Wilson. And the foul called at the buzzer, and the officials say, well, let's just get on out of here. No need to even shoot the free throws. We'll walk off the court, and that is the ball game. Your final score, Uniontown 71, Laurel Highlands 55. The Red Raiders finish the season undefeated in Section 2 at 12-0, the top-ranked team in the state, looking for a number 1 seed in the WPIAL playoffs. And they close out the season with a 16-point win. Back to wrap it up in just a moment.
Welcome back. Uniontown with the victory by 16 points, 71-55 to close out an undefeated regular season. Assistant coach in the section, of course, assistant coach Rob Kaczmarski with me. Terrence Vaughn's leading scorer tonight. We'll talk to Terrence in just a moment. But coach, 16-point win against Laurel. First of all, a win against Laurel Highlands, always a good thing. What's the attitude of the coaching staff about the way the game went? Big lead early, closed up the gap a little bit down the stretch. What are you focusing on, the early part or the late part?
Well, Coach Chuck is a great teacher and he's always teaching. So in the locker room, he was telling them what he felt they did well and what we had to work on there at the end. We played Uniontown basketball for 3 quarters. The last quarter, we didn't play as well as we're going to play. But to be 12-0 in the section is just a credit to these young men because they've been here for 4 years and now one step's out of the way and we'll prepare for the next step.
For a lot of teams, a section title, of course, would be a goal achieved, and you'd consider that a successful season. But obviously, the bar's been raised a bit here at Uniontown, and I imagine that you just view this as one of 3 steps you're hoping to accomplish.
Definitely, it's one step, but you have to also look back and say that you won the section championship. Now that's out of the way, and it puts one mark up on there. Now we have to go for the next steps with the WPIAL playoffs. And I'm sure these young men will be, with their experience, they'll be ready to go.
No idea yet who you're going to play or where or when, but obviously you would, I would imagine, hope that you're the top seed. It would seem to me that you've earned it if you want to lobby a little bit and state your case.
We'll just have to see what they decide Tuesday, so we'll get ready to practice, and whoever we play will be ready for them.
Congratulations, a wonderful season. Good luck in the playoffs. Let's talk to this young man who's getting more FaceTime than me on Herald Standard Television this year, but that's what happens when you keep playing the games. I told him upstairs that your initials are TV, and you play pretty good on TV. 17 points tonight, closing out your career as far as the regular season is concerned, and now you look ahead to the playoffs, I imagine.
Well, now, we got, like Coach said, we got one step out of the way, section title. That was the first on our list, to accomplish. But we're not satisfied. We've been here for 4 years. We won the section last year, but now this year, this is our time. We feel that, we deserve this, and the coaches deserve this, the fans deserve this. So we're going to go out and play, as hard as we can to bring home a WPIAL. Then we're going to try for state.
Hard for me to believe there are still some doubting voices around the WPIAL who says, yeah, but they haven't won anything yet. You've won a whole lot, and certainly we're hoping that you win a whole lot in the WPIAL tournament as well. Talk a little bit about the tournament and the mindset going in to a situation where that one-off night and it could all be over. The stakes are raised from here on out, aren't they?
Well, from past experience, 10th grade, we go in, we're underdogs every game, and I think we did pretty well. Last year, we were the favorite, and we had one bad game, and that's all it takes, and the other team plays well, and, you're going home. So, we have to come out every day, practice. It starts in practice, come out, get focused, get our mind right, and go after that WPIAL title.
Well, I know this young man has the right attitude to win, and I know the rest of the team does as well. Hey, good luck. We're going to follow you guys all the way down the road, hopefully up to Pittsburgh for a WPIAL championship, and then we'll see you in Hershey too, maybe.
Oh, hopefully.
I like the sound of that. Hey, congratulations. Back with the final word in just a moment.
Help with any of your legal matters, Davis & Davis has 2 convenient offices to serve you, Uniontown and Brownsville. They offer evening and weekend appointments and will even come to your home. Davis & Davis, a team of professionals working for you.
Well, back down with Jess Hudson. And Jess, I don't know what much we can say about this game that we didn't talk about during the game itself, because unfortunately in the fourth quarter we had a lot of time to wrap up the game because Uniontown decided this one early.
Slow fourth quarter, and I think they were up 52-24, 28 points. So Dave Shuck, it doesn't matter how many they win by, he's going to find something to pick about, and that's okay. It's understandable. On the flip side, I mean, Laurel Highlands hung in there. They played some more kids than usual. They cut it from 28 to 16, so they're going to try to find something positive into that as they enter into the playoffs.
And I get a sense from just the sense I got being around the Uniontown players and some of the coaches after the game that they are very satisfied with having accomplished step number one. But if all they get this year is a section title, they're going to consider that a disappointment.
Yeah, having been to the WPIAL final last year, the state final the year before, and these are 3- and 4-year starters, you know, they just want to take one game at a time, and they know what their goals are. We know what they are, and hopefully they'll accomplish them.
On the flip side, Laurel Highlands with a chance to wipe away the disappointment of the second half. Losses to all three of their Fayette County foes, Albert, Gallatin, Connellsville, and Uniontown down the stretch. But again, second season now, and you get hot. And again, we go back to the Brownsville Falcons last year. Catch lightning in a bottle at the right time, and you can forget all about that.
Well, anything can happen. The number one seed can lose. They can be in the opposite bracket from Uniontown. People can get injured. You have matchups. People get in foul trouble. So, again, we talked on in the paint last week. Momentum, at least in my opinion, is not the most important thing. Be healthy, number one. Be rested, number two. And be focused. And then the momentum is not even really an issue at this point.
And we'll have plenty more to talk about as far as the playoffs are concerned, and how this regular season has gone for many of the area teams on our next edition of the Davis & Davis in the Paint High School Round Ball Wrap-Up. So make sure you tune into that throughout the rest of the week. For tonight, Uniontown wins it 71-55. They close out the section season undefeated, unblemished at 12-0. LH finishes at 8-4. Both teams heading into the postseason. For Jess Hudson, for Dan Wheeler, Craig Lobb, Eric Zakovic. Boy, we brought out the whole crew here tonight because it was a big one. My thanks to all of them for helping out. My thanks to you for tuning in. We'll see you in the postseason here on HSTV.